Hey guys, what's up? How you guys doing? Welcome to my page. Um, so I get this question all the time on my YouTube channel, and when I was younger, I always asked the same question. I always tried to find out, and I couldn't. So after my knowledge of this past year, I worked at a music store in sales, and I asked the same question. And I just recently worked at an amp store for only 2 weeks. Uh, but I asked him the question too. He builds amps, and the biggest question was, what's the difference between a 6505, Peavey 6505, and a Peavey 5150? And my answers that I got were Eddie Van Halen owned 5150. If you guys didn't know that, I knew that. Like the number, he owned the number. So when he left Peavey, um, he took his numbers with him. So, but the thing is Peavey had the right over the amp at the time. So what happened was they were like, well, that's one of their best selling amps. They're not gonna just stop making them. So all they did was change the name. So they changed 5150 and they took off that, threw it away, or gave it to Van Halen, whatever, and then made 605. There is no difference. There are a lot of people claim that they sound different, and the only reason why they would sound different is because when the EVH, or not EVH, when the 5150s came out, back in the day they used a different set of power tubes, which I guess they cheaped out and they don't use anymore. Apparently they're not even made anymore. So people say that they sound different, and they may have, but they're the power tubes, and those die after a while, and then you have to go back to sounding what you can get your hands on. So 5150s sound the exact same as 6505. I've tried it out myself. I couldn't find a difference. It is a visual thing. It's kind of like if you see red, you just think of like, well, like I think of like a dark, like blood, or kind of a gothic kind of color. Um, that's what I think. And 5150 and 655, you're staring at numbers and you're choosing which one has better tone. But I found it very interesting, and I always try to find it out. And another thing I did learn, and this is pretty cool, the EVH heads that are now Van Halen's heads, which I believe are owned by Fender, those heads, the only difference between those heads and these, of course, are the power tubes, of how many tubes it has. But other than that, all the electronics are the same, except for the transformers. I found that there's actually a website where you can take the EVH, you can buy the EVH transformers and put them in a 6505 and make it sound exactly like an EVH. So if you're paying for the name and you wanted to pay, say, $2,000 for an EVH, you can, but you could just mod yours and make it sound just like the EVH. There is a little bit of difference. I've played them and I like them. I really want one. Of course I do. Yeah, there's not that much difference. It still has a nice compression that I like personally for doing metal. And then the only other difference is he added these ones have a clean channel and a crunch channel mixed in with the same EQ. That one has 3 EQs, which I think is cool too, but that's more to go wrong or something like that, if you want to think of it like that. But then they have the 50-watt version too, the head, which is basically the same thing, just less knobs and more compressed. But EVH, only difference is how many different power tubes, transformers, and that's simply almost it. You can get really technical and say that they use 4 screws instead of 2 screws, but that's silly. But yeah, so 5150 is a 6505, but they just changed the name. And difference between a 6505 and a 6534, which is what I have here, the only difference between these two amps are the power tubes. So if you look, the 6534 has EL34s. 6505 has 6L6s. It's more like, I think 6L6s are a little bit tighter, a little bit like lower grunt to them. And they're both of these amps are so similar. The average ear will not tell a difference. They still have the very same like compression, that nice thin line that like goes right through the mix. But a 6534 does seem to have like more mid-range, more of a little bit of a Marshall-y punch, but it's not like the Lucent that Marshall has. Another thing too is their clean channel is a little bit cleaner. What I liked a little bit bassier, a little bit more round, but when you compare it to any other amp, any other tube amp with clean, it's these amps are all about distortion, the crunch channel and the lead channel. I mean, it's cool that comes with it, but those are the differences. Another thing that is a difference, a Peavey 6505 combo and a Peavey 6505 head are not the same. That's something that people get tricked up on. I thought it was the same, but there's a big difference. Those combos are made in China. These heads are made in USA. I've heard problems go wrong with the combos, and then I mean I've heard them both have their you know, oh, this one had problems and stuff, but apparently those have more problems and they just are a little bit cheaper. I played both of them back to back at the store that I worked at, and there is a difference. I mean, of course you're having, I think it's 60 watts of tubes and this is 120, but there is a big punch, like a big punch through the 120 because of the wattage. But I also noticed it was clear. The cool thing though about the combo versions is they come with reverb. These don't come with reverb, and it comes with an emulate out. So I mean that's still a pretty good deal, and I know I may be doing it pretty soon, but you can cut those combos and make them heads. I have somebody that may want me to do that, but they're not bad for their money. I know they just came out with a Peavey 6505 MH head, which is like I think it's 20 watts. It's a 6505 mini head, and I think that's totally awesome. About time they're making a new model but still keeping it good. But I can almost guarantee you that it's going to sound like the combo version and not the big boy, because the big boy is 120 watts, and there's a difference, and it's USA made. This other one is going to be made in China, I'm pretty sure, because it's like 500 bucks. But I mean, there's some pretty good China stuff out there. I mean, those 6505s are a freaking killer deal. I like them. It's just when you compare them to the head, it's just like, you know, I just wanted to buy the head because everyone I know that they recorded amazing albums, they use the 6505. So, but those are your differences. I'm going to be making a website to where you can ask questions, and I will have the link below, so you can ask me questions and I'll start answering them through videos, like do like once a week or something, because you guys ask a lot on here and it's giving me a big headache. It's awesome, you guys are awesome, but it's just getting kind of overwhelming. I did not expect this many people to appreciate my work. I thank you. But anyways, this is that video, and this wraps that up, and you can subscribe to my channel, follow my other links below, and my album is coming out pretty soon. It's still being recorded, but 2015, yeah. So anyways, bye.